Don't worry about it, he said with a laugh. This suit needed to loosen up anyway. It's been stiff all evening. Julian Carter was tall, with dark hair and the kind of smile that reached his eyes. He introduced himself as an architect who had recently returned to Chicago after years working across Europe and Asia. I've been away so long, I feel like a tourist in my own city, he admitted. We kept talking long after the champagne incident that brought us together was forgotten. Conversation with him was strangely comfortable. No awkward pauses, no forced small talk. We discovered mutual connections, like how he knew my college roommate's brother and how we both love the same tiny, obscure bookstore in Wicker Park. When the event ended, Julian asked for my number. I'd love to continue this conversation over coffee sometime. Coffee turned into dinner the next evening, which turned into a Saturday spent exploring an architecture exhibit at the Art Institute. By our third date, I felt myself genuinely smiling again, not the forced kind I'd been faking for months. It was over dessert at a cozy Italian place that I finally told him. My sister's marrying my ex-fiancé. In 2 weeks. Julian blinked. That must be incredibly difficult. Are you planning to attend? I nodded and explained my complicated reasons for going. When I finished, he reached across the table and took my hand. I have a proposition, he said. Take me as your date. I stared at him. We barely know each other. Why would you want to subject yourself to my family drama? First, I'm enjoying getting to know you, and this gives me an excuse for another date. Second, I'm excellent at charming parents and making exes jealous, it's a rare but refined skill. His playful confidence made me laugh. Soon, we were plotting our mission over tiramisu and espresso. Julian suggested we coordinate outfits, because nothing screams real couple like matching colors, and even rehearse details about each other's lives. Your favorite book is Pride and Prejudice. Mine's The Great Gatsby. But as the plan grew more elaborate, guilt tugged at me. Was I using him? When I confessed that, Julian just smiled. Maya, I'm going into this with open eyes. Sure, part of it's a performance, but what we're building, that's real. Sometimes the best relationships start under the strangest circumstances. And he was right. As the wedding weekend approached, I found myself looking forward to spending time with Julian more than I dreaded the event itself. A new chapter was forming under the ashes of betrayal. The wedding spanned 3 days at a luxury resort, welcome drinks Friday, rehearsal dinner Saturday, and the ceremony Sunday. You don't have to go to everything, my best friend Brielle reminded me. The main event is enough torture. But Julian and I decided to go all in. If we're doing this, let's commit, he said. The more believable we are beforehand, the more convincing we'll be at the wedding. Friday evening. Rooftop bar. Julian held my hand as we stepped onto the terrace. I spotted them immediately, Sabrina, my sister, in white, laughing at something my ex-fiancé, Nathan, was saying. Julian's grip on my hand reminded me to breathe. You've got this, he whispered. We'd barely reached the bar when my mom, Elaine, rushed over. Maya, you came, she said, hugging me tightly, her eyes already scanning Julian. And who is this? Mom, this is Julian Carter. Julian, this is my mother. A pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Lane. Maya speaks so highly of you. My mom beamed. Call me Elaine. As Julian launched into the story of our champagne meet cute, making it sound much more charming than it had been, I spotted Nathan watching us. From across the terrace, Sabrina turned too, surprise flashing in her eyes before she painted on a smile and floated toward us. Maya. And, a guest. How lovely. Julian stepped forward. Julian Carter. I'm Maya's boyfriend. Congratulations on your engagement. Boyfriend. We hadn't discussed using that label. But somehow, it felt right. Sabrina's smile twitched. Thank you, she said tightly. Nathan, come say hi to Maya's boyfriend. Nathan joined us, awkward. Good to see you, Maya. It means a lot you came. Wouldn't miss it, I replied sweetly. The rest of the evening was a delicate dance. Julian charmed every guest, including Aunt Margaret and Nathan's college friends. I caught Nathan watching us repeatedly, especially when Julian touched the small of my back or made me laugh. Saturday's rehearsal dinner was even more intimate, and more revealing. We were seated across from Nathan's parents, who had always adored me. "It's not the same without your Sunday visits," his father said pointedly, casting a glance toward Sabrina. Tension thickened as toasts began. Most speakers danced around the couple's origin story. Nathan's best man finally broke the awkwardness. Cameron's always been decisive, except with restaurant menus. Or, apparently, the Lane sisters. Polite laughter. Tight smiles. But the real shift happened the next morning. At breakfast, Nathan's parents chose to sit with Julian and me instead of Sabrina. As we chatted, my father leaned in quietly. "I'm proud of you, Pumpkin. The way you're handling all this, you've grown strong." "Thanks, Dad." His eyes drifted to Julian. "This new fellow, he's a good man. A much better fit than Nathan ever was." Before I could respond, Nathan approached. "Can we talk privately?" We stepped out onto the terrace. "I just wanted to say, I hope you're okay." "I'm fine. Julian and I are having a great time." "How long have you been together?" "Does it matter?" He hesitated. "I just want you to be happy." I looked at him closely for the first time in months. He looked tired. The tension in his shoulders, the shadows under his eyes, I recognized them. "Are you happy, Nathan?" "Of course," he answered too quickly. Before I could say more, Sabrina appeared. "He's mine now," she whispered when Nathan walked away. "Whatever you said won't change that." "I don't want him back," I said. "Sure you don't. Your new boyfriend is quite the upgrade." "This isn't a competition," she smirked. "It's always been a competition. You just didn't realize because you were always winning." That night, unable to sleep, I texted Julian, "I don't think I can do this tomorrow. Want to talk?" 20 minutes later, we were at the hotel bar, quietly sipping whiskey. "I thought this would feel satisfying," I said. "But it just feels sad." Julian nodded. "Can I tell you something? I was engaged once too. Her name was Rebecca. She cheated. I understand betrayal, and I get the need to show them you're better off, but at some point, you have to ask yourself, are you here for them or for yourself?" I stared at him. "Maybe both. But I think, now, I'm here for me." To close this chapter, Julian took my hand. "Then that's why we'll go. Not for revenge. For closure." This time when he walked me to my room, our goodnight kiss had nothing to do with strategy, and everything to do with something real. The next day, I stood in a red dress, hair done, makeup flawless thanks to Brielle. "You look lighter," she said, eyes twinkling. "Had a good talk. And a good kiss," she squealed. When Julian arrived, he took a step back in awe. "You are absolutely stunning." The ceremony began. Sabrina walked down the aisle in lace and flowers. Nathan looked handsome and tense. The ceremony went on without interruption. Julian squeezed my hand when the minister asked if anyone objected. At the reception, guests whispered and speculated. Sabrina eventually stood up, glass in hand. "Sometimes love isn't straightforward," she said. "Sometimes a man has to realize who he truly belongs with. He might have settled first, but I'm the one he chose forever." The room went dead silent. My heart pounded. Julian stood, calm and collected. "I'm Julian Carter," he said. "And I just want to say, Maya, meeting you has changed my life. What started as a chance meeting became something I cherish deeply." He reached into his jacket pocket. "And in front of everyone you once knew, I want the world to know, I choose you. Today, every day. Will you marry me?" The room gasped. Tears filled my eyes. "Yes," I said. "But I want a long engagement." "How long?" "Long enough to build something real." "We already have," he said, slipping the ring onto my finger. As we drove home that night, I stared out the window, watching city lights blur past. "Penny for your thoughts?" Julian asked. "Just thinking, how sometimes the worst things lead to the best things." "If Sabrina hadn't sent that invitation," I began. "I'd like to think we would have found each other anyway," he said. "Some people are meant to find each other." And as months passed, and our bond grew stronger, I came to believe him. My sister stole my fiancé, and handed me the beginning of the best chapter of my life. A chapter not about revenge, but healing, strength, and love. So if you're hurting, if you're navigating heartbreak, remember this. Sometimes, the ending you never wanted becomes the beginning you always needed. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more real-life journeys of love, growth, and resilience. And tell me, has heartbreak ever led you to something better? Let's talk in the comments.